George.
Mic check. Hello.
No, you're good, dude. It's working good. Can you hear me?
I hear you great.
George, what a day, dude. You've driven back home 3 hours, you told me. Put your kid to sleep, and now you're this is the content game. So let's just start at the day, George. At the beginning, did you feel good going in? I mean, you played well in the pre-Q qualifier. You've played good of late on mini tours, those kind of things. So I assume you felt somewhat confident going into the day today.
Yeah, my game's been good. Yeah, so I worked all morning on the golf course, and then as you can see here, we get back and go to real work. No, the game, like, gosh, dude, I'm so good at technology. There we go. No, the game for probably the last, I don't know, month has felt pretty good. Like, I played a lot of pro golf, and yes, it's mostly YouTube now, but I know what I'm feeling and like the scores I'm shooting. It's felt different than it has probably the last couple of years. The last couple of years on YouTube, it's like up and down. I can fake some 68s and 9s, but I don't know. Anyway, so I've had some confidence and shot some good scores. And honestly, the pre-qualifier, bogey-free 67, hit it well. It was a control for 18 holes, which gave me a lot of confidence coming today that A, I'm playing well, but also B, that I can play well on this golf course. Now, again, there's a lot of pressure involved. I haven't felt it in a while. And so navigating all that was going to be obviously a challenge. And go into today, really the first few holes kind of right where I left off. Great drivers on 1, 2, great iron shots on 2, 3, 4. And it carried over really all day. Like the start I got off was 5 under after 8 holes. I go eagle, birdie, 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 6 under on 5, and I'm like, oh my goodness! Like we have now given ourselves a chance in this Monday Q.
So
yeah,
I mean, I've caddied in, obviously not played in, but I've caddied in. That kind of just people think like, oh, you're playing well. That takes the pressure off. No, it ramps it up. Like
absolutely,
because it's easy. It's easy for you to say like, oh, I'm. Mark Baldwin's going to join us.
Hey,
Mark's off a fresh 62 at the Arizona Open. Just finished.
Golly.
Drank 62 water bottles as well.
It doesn't take off the pressure. It ramps it up, right, George? I mean, you're like, oh, like you kind of go into any Monday, even the best players with low expectations, knowing you really have to fire. So then you make the turn at 5 under. I assume you're like, oh shit, I'm in this. I'm right in the heart of it.
Yeah, no, it's like, again, it's fascinating. Manage expectations, and like everyone plays nervous. It's just like I haven't done this as my main job for a lot of years, and so like these feelings aren't like just par for the course. It's like almost like a new feeling, and like having to retrain. Like, okay, this is how it's always been, and anyway, and so yeah, you get 5 under at the turn, but like I know I've played enough Monday qualifiers where I've always like get to the number and kind of just like try to hold on. Where like the mentality all day was like, hey, I know we're making birdies, but let's just keep pushing. Let's see how many under we can go. Now the back 9 didn't go that way for me, just because you have some tougher shots, some different numbers, whatever. But like the mentality stayed the same, and so I think that helped a lot. Knowing that, hey, I'm right around where I think the number is going to be. Let's just keep pushing. Let's keep staying aggressive, making committed golf swing. It's not going to feel great. You're going to be uncomfortable, but like you have proven in the pre-qualifier and throughout the day that your process has worked. So like, regardless of what you're feeling, just go ahead and trust it and make swings and see where it ends up. And for the most, all day off the tee, most every fairway, and even most iron shots, they were pretty good. Now, as the later stages, I started hitting not quite as close to the pin, a little quick with some hooks here and there, but like, yeah, it was very interesting navigating like tournament pressure when like one birdie and you're in a PGA Tour event, or par, you're probably gonna be in a playoff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun and definitely something I hadn't experienced in a while.
Wesley was ahead of you, finished at 5 under. Was anybody keeping you up to date on? I had some followers who knew where you both stood, but I assume, did you know what Wesley had shot?
Yeah, I mean, I knew what he was on every hole on the back nine. Kind of. I started really. I mean, I was keeping tabs the whole day. And so but once I knew he knew what I was doing, like when I got to 5 under, I knew like he was going to keep chipping away to try to not let me beat him. And I just know, like, I know it doesn't matter how he's playing. I just knew coming 18, like I had to keep my foot on the floor, like he was going to beat me. And so I didn't want that to happen. And it's one of those cool things where you can't really explain it. It makes no sense. But like we've played enough tournaments where one of us gets down, the other one almost always kind of pushes and catches the other just because we don't want to lose. And it was cool to see him kind of like he made an awful double on 8. Like literally, water's 20 yards short of the pin. If you just make contact, it's getting over. Well, he chunks a 5-iron, makes double, and goes from 2 under to even, and probably dejected. But then in the back of his mind, he's like, "I'm 5 down to George," and like this is like, hey, I'm not going to let him embarrass me out here. And so like he just chips away, makes some birdies. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, like he strings together some Wesley golf, posts at 5 under. And then I'm like, dang it, man. Like, I want to make more. Like, I knew what I had to do in the last 2 holes, really the last 3, last 2. Now I didn't make the birdies, but like it was definitely a motivating factor knowing that like I don't want to lose to him. And it just so happens that like he was the kind of the leader in the clubhouse, which helped.
How close was that putt on 18? It's hard to tell from the video, but it looked like it had to be
pretty
close.
I mean, I just rewatched it. Like it literally is dead center. It probably is this far short in the heart, and it breaks off, and it's this far as a tap in. But like, it looked dead center and probably a foot short of the hole, and then 8 inches in front, it takes a 9-degree turn and just misses low. But like, man, I thought we had her. I thought we were going to sneak it into the Wyndham. But I mean, then to the hardest part, honestly, I wanted to make it, yes, but like you got a 2-putt, like where like 500 is probably gonna be a playoff, so you have a tough 2-putt at hand. So like that's the ultimate goal. And I mean, the fact that I got it down to was pretty impressive. Mentally, it was not like the best I've ever been. I was like, okay, you can leave this 10 feet short, you can putt it off the green. Like there's a lot that could go bad here. Not to mention Wesley's up there, he wants me to do well, but like I can't 3-putt in front of him and whatever. And so that was cool. Then you get to the playoff. Like I don't know, getting to a PGA Tour playoff with your brother. It's one of those weird, crazy things that you kind of thought was going to happen somewhere in the last 10 years, just given how we played in amateur golf, college golf, and pro. And then out of all the time is when we're pretty much doing YouTube full time. Now he's been on tour, but like it's crazy how it happened. And we're both playing some good golf, and we just happened to be in a playoff for one of the spots in the tour events today. It's kind of crazy.
Did you guys have a conversation? Did you have time to have a conversation before the playoff? George, I know you were pretty late in the day, but did you have time to discuss? And if so, what did you guys talk about anything?
Oh yeah, we did. We filmed a couple not outros. We did some recaps on YouTube for the YouTube video. Did some of that. Made fun. He grilled me for how I couldn't make a bogey 11, and I'm like, dude, whatever. And we went through a warm up. So, I mean, it honestly felt like a YouTube video. Like other people, like Tommy, he doesn't count. That guy, it doesn't matter what you say around him. But the other 3 guys were probably like, what are these guys doing? Like, it's for a tour event. Like we were probably too relaxed, but we were having fun and like enjoying an opportunity to tee it up in a tour event. Now for Wesley, this is a massive event, like for him, like this late in the year and where he is on the points list and what it could mean.
Yeah.
Me, this is kind of to fulfill a former goal or dream to just tee it up in an event. So it didn't mean as much for me, like on paper. But no, it was like we just kept it loose, and it really did feel like we were just shooting a video. I mean, we were, but like, which is a massive help when you're in such a stressful situation like this, where we can like just treat it like on any other match that me and him play against each other. And it was also insane that me, Wesley's caddy Scott Feaster, and then Tommy Gainey, all of us played in this same gambling match at Northwoods growing up for the last like 20 years. And like if you would have said, hey, you three guys are going to be in a playoff for a PGA Tour event now, or I know it's a Monday qualifier, but a chance to play in a tour event, 15 years ago, it'd be like, what are you talking about? It would make no sense on paper if you'd see the money games we played in and the crew that we ran with. But we were there. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
George, I assume that when you all were growing up, this was a routine thing where you guys would be playing against each other and saying this is a playoff and a PGA Tour event. This is for the FedEx Cup. This is for millions of dollars, whatever. When was the last time that you can remember not competing against him for a video, but actually in competition when it mattered?
I mean, so we were talking like we did it our whole life from age 7 to 24, when did he get on tour? 25, 26, whatever, 20 plus years. That's all we did. Tournament golf. And then, he gets on tour and that kind of stops because I'm not playing in PGA Tour events. And so I got to sectionals US Open last year. We had the same site. So that was the first time we had competed since 2015 when it was on Corn Ferry, 2016. And then this was the second time we've competed in a tournament since 2016. So what is that, 7 years, 8 years? So yeah, that's the cool thing is I know my game is good. And you see it in matches, I'm neck and neck. I beat him some, he beats me most of the time. But I wanted to compete when he's at his best trying. I'm ultimately going to be giving it the most attention or whatever. And it's just see where my game stacks up against his. Now again, I want to compete against everyone else, but I've always had that, for whatever reason, that desire to beat him and everything. And so I just wanted to see, just for curiosity and to see how close it really was. And so was one of the more fun things today, is just going head to head in a tournament that matters with him.
And you told me before this, George, that he kind of hit a duck hook off the, and you're like, I assume you're like, oh, this is my opening. This is it. Here's my change.
I mean, I did. I really did. I was like, yeah. I mean, Kyle's like, Wesley, this is not what we need. We need I don't know how my game's going to be, but I need you to be on your best to represent Bryan Bros. And then when I see him do that, I'm like, of course, perfect. Just miss this fairway, and drops down. Good break, and I just watched the video clip, and it's it's pretty ridiculous. He hits a 7-iron from 200, and literally doesn't leave the pin, and it lands just over the bunker, trickles up, and ends up about this far. And at that time, there's three of us that didn't really have a chance to make. I mean, yes, we had a chance, but not really. And so once I was like, dude, you just got a spot. What? This is insane. Of course, it comes on the heels of him hooking into the trees, dropping down, hoisting a 7-iron out of the rough over trees to a foot. I mean, can't make it up.
I know there's some disappointment, obviously, George, but I assume you take a lot of confidence out of this. I mean, you've signed up for Q School, you've put that on. I know you got a lot going on, and you have the YouTube always can be a following, but I know at heart you're a player. I assume this just gives you a ton of confidence at the very least.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that that's one of the things that has been, how do I describe it? I've been trying to give myself more confidence in this year of the beast saying that I keep kind of making fun at hey, it's the year of the beast or whatever, to try to give instill myself some confidence. Hold on, I gotta go get some water. I'm dying. Talk amongst yourselves. I got something stuck in my throat. BRB.
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm
here.
How do you feel, buddy? 62.
Yeah, 62.
A little bit delirious. It was hot. I mean, it was the coolest day that Arizona has had all summer. Finally broke a 30-day streak of 110 every day. It was only 104.
How great is it that we wore almost the same Dunning shirt today?
I think it might be. Just the lighting is a little different. Thankfully, the lighting is slightly different.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to it.
No problem,
right,
George. You're good. You're good. We just noticed that we have the same Dunning shirt on. We
Team
think
shirts.
Possibly just different lighting in the same shirt.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one thing that I've lacked for a lot of the last probably 5 years, it's like confidence in myself and not believing that I'm good as Wesley or tour players. Now, yes, I'm not as good as tour players, but like I still have a lot of game in it, but I never believed it. And so anytime you lack confidence, you're never going to play as good as you really can. And so this year I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna we made some kind of jokes about we always joke around like, oh, you're a beast, I'm a beast or whatever. And so I was like, you know what? This is the year of the beast. I'm coming after you, Wesley. I'm winning matchup, whatever. And so I'd start saying it off camera and like, what do you expect? I mean, it's the year of the beast. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just kind of mention in a video offhand just to put it out there and try to show people I'm trying to be more confident, but in a funny way. And then it kind of just is taken off, but it's one of those things that subconsciously, I know it sounds silly and cheesy, and it is a funny thing that I can say online, but it's actually, I mean, I've played in the 4 tournament rounds I have this year. I have a 70, 64, 66, and 67, and so there's something to be said about just a little bit of belief in what I'm doing. It's not, I mean, my game is probably a little bit better, yes, but the confidence has been there, and it's it's mainly because I've tricked myself into it. But going, moving into Q school, these are some stuff that I can draw on, and in those situations, because I mean, Q school is stressful, and so it's gonna be kind of cool to see how it does transpire, because the game is pretty good. So add a little confidence to that, and so I mean, heck, who knows?
All right, George, we're gonna let you. Poor George can't even talk. The guy's been in 100.
I mean,
he's editing.
Oh, I feel terribly bad for him.
No, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm glad I could come on here and chat a little bit.
George,
losing my brother.
I mean, you guys don't need it, but go follow him on YouTube, Building a Golf Course. Awesome content all the time. Have been super nice to me and great supporters of mine. And
heck yeah,
appreciate it, George. Go now back to your full-time job as
I know.
In front of the edit bay.
I know. No, I got to get all this taken care of.
Yeah, and then back to the Wyndham to shoot more stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, see you guys.
Go get him, George.
Thanks, George. See ya.